Nice.
So what's your name?
Betty.
Betty, and where are you from, Betty?
From Jackson, Michigan, born and raised, but I live here in Des Moines. I got extradited actually I had some issues with legal issues, so I had to come back and take care of that. So,
wait, expedited?
Extradited.
What's
they
that?
Bring you back from one state to another.
Oh, for court appearances and stuff?
Well, for court appearances, or you know, if you have a warrant, or. But I got all that taken care of now, so now I'm just trying to get everything together and get my life together, and nothing's working out.
Did you start initially experiencing homelessness here?
No, I've experienced homelessness on and off for years.
How many years has it been, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I left home when I was 15, so probably right around age 15. I'm going on 42, so I was overwhelmed, really stressed out, dealing with a lot of stuff, and then I relapsed on alcohol. I'm an alcoholic. I'm sober now, obviously. I'm drinking water and soda, but I had to leave, and then...
So they kicked you out?
Yeah, they put me out. So I basically went to the woods, and then I got this happened, and so I had to go to the hospital, and I was in the hospital for like a week.
How did that happen?
Well, I was putting a tarp up over a tent to try to keep the water out from the rain, and I got a splinter from the tent pole, a metal splinter stuck in my joint, and I got this. I didn't even know it was in there, but somebody else was like, you got something black in there, so I was like, I kept squeezing, and finally the tip of it came out, and I pulled it out. It's about that long, and about 2 days later, it wouldn't, nothing would come out. It's like it wouldn't drain, and so I went to the urgent care, and then they gave me a prescription for antibiotics, but I didn't have the copay because I don't have any money. And so the next day I went to the ER, and they had to do emergency hand surgery on my hands. They had to cut me open here, and then right in the, like below my middle finger, like right there in the palm of my hand. And so now I'm still healing up from that. Now I'm dealing with the death of my dad. And everything's like just falling in on me.
Would you talk for a moment about the criminalization and tracking of the homeless population?
Like how people resort to criminal activities because of being homelessness?
No, more how police will tend to monitor the homeless more closely, and also criminalize them for things like camping and basic things that. Yeah,
one day it was a couple weeks ago, I think, before I went to the hospital for this. Me and a couple of my homeless friends were sitting down here across from the 6th Avenue pantry right down there, and this one officer, I don't know his name, but he just pulled up out of nowhere, sirens blaring, and he got out and he says, all right, I'm going to start taking people to jail. Out of nowhere. My friend Heather was sleeping there on the ground. She has a broke leg or foot or whatever, and he went up and he just kicked her hard, just kicked the crap out of her. And you know what? They tend to focus more on homeless people. They don't realize we're just trying to make our way and mind our own business. We're not trying to cause no trouble. We have nowhere to go to stay out of the public eye. No drinking in public. Well, of course, people that are still drinking out there, I'm not drinking anymore right now, but chronic alcoholics that are out there, they're drinking. Well, don't drink in public, but where are you supposed to drink? You're supposed to go out in the woods somewhere and just chill in the woods and drink there and stay out of the eye. Well, they go out there too.
Just about everyone has some kind of stuff. People smoke in public, people drink in public all the time, but only the homeless population seem to get harassed about it.
They do. It's just, it doesn't, okay, you can have a homeless person here doing their thing, and somebody can be 10 feet away that's not homeless doing the same thing, and the cops will harass the homeless person before they'll go and they'll do anything to that person. And I don't get it. I really don't. And I grew up in a police family. I really did. My grandpa was a cop. His brother was a sheriff's officer. But these police officers here make good cops look really bad. I don't always have bad experiences with police officers, but I try to stay away from the police officers. I try not to. and I hate to say this, you know, I like to hang with my other homeless people because I you know, can relate with them, but I feel like if you all hang in a crowd together, like that's when you draw the attention too of the police. Like, police tend to flock towards crowds of people, you know, which, I mean, it's not gonna stop me from talking to my friends, but still, it's like, what do you do?
Right, it makes things harder than it needs to be, right?
It does, yeah.
And what would you say are some of the biggest barriers or hardest parts about experiencing homelessness?
I don't really think there's a lot of help out here. It just seems like we're forgotten a lot, you know what I'm saying? And it seems like, not only that, but it seems like people, like you want to say, not racial profiling, but like the way we are, I don't know how to say it. Like
there's a stigma towards people.
Right. People look down on you. They'll like, I had one person come up to me one time and say, "Why don't you go get a job?" Well, if it was that simple, I would. You know, and actually, I kind of do. I had a job, but I kind of can't work right now because of my hand. But still, you know, it's not fair for somebody to walk up and just assume that, you know, you're out there bumming just a bum. You know, you're just trying. I'm just trying to get something to eat.
Have you always experienced homelessness in Des Moines, or have you been homeless in other states?
Oh, I've been homeless all over. I used to be a traveler. I've lived in, well, Michigan is where I'm from. I've been homeless in Los Angeles. I've been homeless in Arizona. I've been homeless in Texas and Florida. Florida was the main area of my homelessness. Florida and LA was like two main areas of my homelessness. Arizona, I just kind of got caught up. I was leaving an abusive relationship and I got caught at the border with, you know, drugs in the car with this guy that was giving me a ride, and so I ended up having to do time in the Department of Corrections there for, you know, marijuana and stuff that was in the car. But then I ended up leaving there and then going back home. It's been a shit show my whole life, and now I just want something to happen with my life before I die. I just want to make something of my life before I die. You know, my ideal is to go home, but I can't go home right now because I'm on parole. And I can't pay off my court fines because I don't have the money. And that's the main thing I have to do is pay off my court fines. And of course, Karen, I'm kicking your butt. You took my spot. That's all right. As long as you ain't there all day, girlfriend. LA is more, I don't want to say necessarily nicer treating the homeless per se, but they're more accepting. Like Florida and LA, like LA, there's Skid Row where I don't know if you know anything about LA or not. There's Skid Row where you could park tents outside the church and everything, and the cops don't really bother you unless you're like doing something illegal. Like homelessness there is not
as criminalized.
It's not criminalized. It's not. The cops don't. I think the gnat just flew in my mouth. Ugh. Gross. The cops don't bother you for pitching a tent there. You know what I'm saying? They just let you be. As far as nice, let me think. Ann Arbor, Michigan is like, people are really friendly there as far as, you know, homeless people, you know what I mean? Big college town, you know, University of Michigan, go blue. Woo! Go Wolverines!
And can you talk a little bit about like traveling while experiencing homelessness? Like how did you usually travel and get from place to place, and when did you decide to go?
Well, I don't really travel anymore just because, you know, I'm not as young as I once was, but my daughter wants to travel, and I don't know, if she used to travel, I'd probably have to go with her because I don't want her to travel by herself. But traveling, you know, I'd do the same thing I'm doing now. I'd just, you know, get the money I need to get a bus ticket, or it's not safe to hitch.
Is there anything else you want to add or talk about, or any message you want the world to hear?
My name is Betty Crawford. I'm 41 years old. I'm tired of being homeless. I could really use any and all help, any sources, any. I'm not really looking for a handout. I'm just looking for a hand up. Any organizations that could help, anything that could help, that'd be great. I don't want to be out here anymore, man. It's killing me. You know. Thanks for taking your time to go over and talk to me. That was great.
Thank you.
You know?